I'm Janet Forrest, Head of Adult Programs, and this is the Nantucket Atheneum podcast. This July, we will present our 15th Annual Nantucket Dance Festival, which brings world-class dancers and performers to the island and supports our mission to provide free, year-round services and programs to our community. In celebration of the 15-year milestone, I spoke with Artistic Director Tyler Engel about what to expect at this year's festival, what it's like to adapt world-class performance for a smaller, more intimate stage, and how the festival has evolved during his tenure. In this episode, Tyler talks about the different ways in which this week-long event has woven itself into the fabric of our island community.
I think it's become basically more sort of engaged in the community, or that's an effort that we've definitely tried to do is up our what we're doing in and for the community as well, to sort of more closely shadow what the library does in that regard with our children's programs. One year we had probably 300 kids at the new Boys and Girls Club. It was wild. Everybody who was there, myself, and then the dancers who were helping, we all just sort of needed to go outside and pass out afterwards. It was exhausting, but it was amazing. And we had all of these kids running and jumping and experimenting with being a tree or mirroring their friends or feeling their bodies move. I don't think any of them had ever done that before. A lot of them just thought they were going to play basketball that day, but they did it. They stayed and did it, right? And that's amazing. And I love that. And I think that that's definitely something that we've moved towards too. We've definitely leaned into that as opposed to trying to stay and be a kind of separate, oh no, we're just coming in and we're providing a service, which is great to, we're really in it, in the community. And it was definitely the most clear it's ever been last year when we were down at Children's Beach, because all of our rehearsals, company class in the morning, teching, when we're doing, notes after rehearsals, everything was open. There's no curtain, there was nothing. There were families having lunch. There were little girls who were right at the front of the stage. It was amazing. And people would come. I had one guy at the end of the week, he said, I brought my beach chair and I came over every day. I've sat here for hours. I've never seen anything like this. Amazing. It's really great that people can discover something that they never thought they were going to enjoy or find interesting. Isn't that what you want to do when you go into a library? You want to find something that that you didn't think that you were going to find and sit there and read for hours. So I think I love these kind of parallels and tandems.
And that's something the Atheneum's hyper aware of, because we're not just a public library, we're an Atheneum, and we're in this big column building, and people can think we're a courthouse or a church. And just to get up those steps and through the door can be a barrier for people. And anything we can do to get people in the door and see a smiling librarian and lots of books and all kinds of services. And I've heard my colleague Jillian say that going to the workshop before, seeing the dancers break it down, and then you have a foundation. So you're not just watching a bunch of ballet that you don't understand. It gives you a foundation to look and be like, oh, they talked about that. That's why they're doing it that way.
I love that. Well, I was sort of reading the other ballet galas that are just one thing, it's canned music. You see 3 sets of 32 fouettes. You see, you know exactly what you're going to get, and it's going to be 4.5 hours long. And by the end of it, it's oh, they're all on stage bowing. At least for me, it's I've always said this. I'm you can go see really anywhere. You could go see a chamber music concert that has wonderful and amazing programming. And I'm why can't chamber ballet programs be like this? Why can't they have wonderful and amazing programming? I definitely I have a thing. I think other people are just kind of lazy when it comes to that, because you can do so much more. A string quartet can play anything. You add a piano to that and you could do a reduction of anything at all. And we do that all the time. I sit down with people and I play them some Tchaikovsky, and I'm this is for a full orchestra. What can we do here? Do we need to add woodwinds? How can we get this live and in a chamber version? Let's work on it. It seems like a fun problem. In the same way, I don't shy away, when we're in that lecture, I don't shy away from saying this has been a problem, to the audience, this has been a problem for us. We're either missing the downbeat, everybody's not together. It's really lovely to go and see something that looks effortless and wonderful, but I don't think it ruins it if by the time you're in the performance, it's effortless and wonderful, but you know that work went into it. Like, I've never been that sort of person. Like, I don't need to only see like the building being built and being like, excellent. I don't know. Like, what sort of justice is there? It's like nice to know that like all these things were stacked up and then turned into this, right?
And it gives you that respect for the process. Like, no one goes to a romantic comedy to see them live happily ever after. You want to see them meet cute. You want to see the struggle.
Good.
You want to see all the messiness that they have to work through to get to the happy ending.
Oh, I love that. That's perfect. I totally agree with you 100%.
Like, I think it changes how you see the work, to see the messiness and the vulnerability and the frustration and just the time and effort it takes.
I do really love then afterwards, sometimes, after the shows, I'll hear from someone that's been to the lecture being like, and when they started, I was thinking, are they going to make it this time? Like, do they get, and I love that. It's like, then, because you really aren't just, you're an active participant in the show at that point. You're not just someone who's like, you're invested. You want to see it. I think that's really great. I love it.
And going back to adding the live music element, it's another variable. Everyone has to perform and it all has to come together. So if you have recorded music, it's recorded. Short of a power outage, the music's going to go off without a hitch. And, watching a film, it's different from watching live theater because someone might go up, someone might sneeze, they might drop a prop. There's no resetting it. And it's just very exciting to have that live human aspect. And you're right, everyone's involved, everyone's participating.
That was also a fun, being a children's speech, that was also a fun thing too, because there was always it was really during the day, like the whole thing was during the day. So there were a lot of times when like the dancers would be on stage and someone would be in the middle of their solo doing these things. And you could see a 3-year-old in the back, like doing all the same twirls and running around, so excited. And some of the ladies, when they were doing their like Paquita variations, maybe they were like, I couldn't stop watching that kid back there. Like, I was like, stay concentrated, because it was almost like they were watching a performance of their own from the other end, because the audience was really, really clear. But it's great. It's nice when there's energy flowing back and forth, So I think that even if you can't see the audience, you can feel when the audience is engaged with what you're doing. And so like having people come to the lecture and then being engaged, like when the curtain goes up, you can feel that energy. And it just is something that like really, it buoys your performance.
This has been a production of the Nantucket Atheneum. It was written, narrated, and edited by me, Janet Forrest. Special thanks to Tyler Engel for bringing the dance festival to Nantucket year after year. The Nantucket Dance Festival will run from July 18th to July 23rd, and many events are free and open to the public. You can find all the details and where to buy tickets at nantucketatheneum.org.